Hello there and welcome to the new video where I am talking about do I need to learn everything that is written in the job description. So this is the question which I received on my email, and thank you so much for asking all those different questions. It is also opening my perspective. These type of questions are always there back in the mind, but thinking about it, writing about them, and collecting the experience is altogether a different journey to basically come and advise and suggest you as to what you really need to do in scenarios like this or situations like this, so that as a beginner or as a fresher, if you are watching this video and looking at all these different job descriptions, it will be very difficult for you to really understand, do I need to learn everything or do I need to basically have a focus on my key skills. So if you look at the different types of job descriptions, I would say if you look at 10 different job descriptions for that is specific to your field, you will find that those 10 job descriptions are altogether different in terms of the skills, experience, background that they are really looking for. So what should be our strategy, or as a fresher or as a job seeker, what should be your strategy to really get the best out of these job description? What do you understand it when you look at these types of job description, and then have focus on your skills in terms of whether you should acquire new skills or you should continue with the skills that you want. So I want to clarify with some of the points, because I have been both side of these things, where earlier back in the day, around 10 or 12 years back, I have been searching for the job, and from past 7 years I am sort of designing the job description, because I have been into this managerial job where I need to hire people for the organization, for the team, who can really support the function. Now this basically gives me the perspective, because here we are not aware about what is the internal functioning or internally what is happening in the company, but here we go through a different type of, or I have gone through a different type of experience where we have written or we have designed such an amazing job description, waited for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and did not find any candidate. So what should be the right balance on both the sides in terms of understanding? This is something I wanted to give you in this video. So let's think about why so many companies have similar type of requirement. I mean, there is a requirement for web developer or data analyst, data scientist, any type of requirement, but why they have a different job description altogether? The reason for this is every company have a very specific or a very different type of a situation as compared to another. Also, sometimes it is because of the rules, regulations, laws, because of which they basically have to hire the right type of people. Also, technology is changing at a very fast pace, right? So to have your competitive advantage into the market, you need to have something, you need to have great people who are new in these, or who are experienced in these new technology, and you are bringing them on board to get the competitive advantage, right? So that's the reason these different companies have different types of requirements, where they create the job description, and at the end, the job seekers get confused, right? Whether I should have my primary skills, that's what I meant by one, or how much secondary skill I really need to learn in this case. And that's where I come in, or I basically trying to give you the experience or my understanding of what really happens in this case. So let's evaluate one type of a criteria. For example, you are going for a data analyst type of a position, where you have been asked, or it's been written, that Excel, VBA and Tableau is something, a combination in which they want the person to work on, but they also have the strong presentation skills and SQL, and I believe that's about it. Yeah, so these are the two additional things that they have added. Now you get confused, right? For example, you have these skill set, but you don't have, let's say, the strong presentation or SQL skills, and then you start thinking, should I learn the presentation skills, should I learn SQL, and how much really I need to learn? Do I really need to be aware about those things, or I need to have a certain level of expertise? Is something what then only I will be available or ready for the interview. Well, these types of some additional things get basically get you confused in terms of whether you are really ready for the job or not. So that's what I meant by that whether I should really apply or I should not really apply. So there are two things which is nice to have and must have. These are the criterias. If you see, and I will show you one job description as well. This is the criteria which the company usually look at as to what are the nice to have skills and what are the must have skills. So nice to have, I have highlighted it, is because these are the ones which gets us confused, but the must haves is something which have been written in just around 3 or 4 different lines, and that's it. Other things or other nice to have skills have more presence into the job description, even though back in the company or in the hiring manager's mind, the focus is mostly about the must have skills. So we will see an example as to how to really identify the must have skills and what to do with the nice to have skills. So here is a job description. I'm not really sure if you will be able to see it, but what it has is basically it is a sort of a data analyst type of an opening, where you have the different section of the job description, like what you will bring in terms of skills, in terms of the interpersonal skills or some technologies related information, and the impact that you will make. Now what you do is pause this video pause the video right now for, let's say, a minute, and just try to see what you are able to come out of this job description in terms of what are my must have skills that is being asked in this, and what are the nice to have skills that is being shown over here. Well, I have gone through at least 1 or 2 times, and then I realized, okay, what is a nice to have or what is a must have skills that one should really be aware of about it. So based on my understanding, there are 2 must have skills which is being given over here. I think 3 what I have, no, 2. So 3 to 6 years of professional analytical modeling skills, it's a must have. I mean, if you are not fitting in this criteria, they will not move ahead. And advanced programming skills, extensive programming and data manipulation skills in all of these things. If you will see, everything will be revolving around these 2 things, right? For example, here demonstrated interest in financial services or related industries, again vague. They have just either financial industries or related industries. Similarly, strong time management skills with ability to manage multiple assignments effectively. Again, it's a very open and vague sort of a thing as to how do you really manage your time. Again, situation is different from person to person, project to project, and things like those. So all of those things basically moves around these two important things. Let's look at for example, over here, our culture, flexible time of, okay, all of this thing, good hands-on knowledge of any of the ETL, SQL, Unix scripting. Well, if you have worked over here, you probably have already worked on this particular thing. Similarly, familiarity with credit bureau data and solution. Again, familiarity, not a must-have skills that without that they will not going to take it. So it's very, very important from looking at the job description and identifying how much you really what are those must-have skills that you should really have, and other things which is nice to have. What are those things? You should be able to highlight that in the job description and should be able to then decide what do you need to do. Now comes the nice to have part about what do you really need to do. So first thing I need to suggest to you is, based on whatever domain or based on whatever criteria field in which you are in, look at around 20 different job descriptions, try to identify whether you can see the must have skills in that and see how they are related to the nice to have skills. That's number one thing I want you to do. The second thing I want to suggest is that for nice to have skills, get the familiarity about it. Just have a good understand, not I would say an expert level of understanding, have a good understanding about it. And in the interview, always be open to communicate that yes, I am open to learn and able to manage while I'm doing the job with my core skills that I'm having, and it's generally is not an issue, and generally that's the case. I mean, the so many interviews that I've seen, the good candidates that I have selected for my teams are the ones who have been open to learn new tools, technologies, new domains, and things like those. Those who have given me the response, oh no, this is my area, this is what I have learned, and it's very difficult for me to go on this area, which is fine. Again, nothing wrong in that, because you don't want to come out. You are already probably settled in your job, and you are looking for something which is giving you similar type of experience or similar type of work, probably with more pay, because sometimes even the finance thing is having more priority in the current company. You are not getting the good job and good pay, and maybe from the next you are expecting, but you don't want to come out of your comfort zone, or maybe let's say you don't want to leave your technology at all and don't want to even learn it. Well, scenario is that you will find very less opportunities, and you will start, at least in my perspective, have a struggle finding the right job for you if you are not doing that. But in almost 90% of the scenarios, people are open to learn and open to basically very open to say that yes, I'm ready to learn about these tools and technologies, and this should reflect in your job as well. I mean, you should be very much open in terms of learning those things. Now, for some of the job descriptions that you have already understood or you have already gone through, see what are the common types of nice to have skills which have been given mostly in most of the job description, and then see whether you can get a familiarity about it. The reason for this is, if you are able to speak little bit, let's say 2 to 3 minutes about those nice to have skills, then it will be easy for a recruiter to really understand that yes, you have got understanding about it. Even they are saying that you need to have a familiarity with those type of things. So whether you are familiar or not, it will become apparent when you will be able to speak around 2 to 3 minutes about those things which is being asked in the job description or asked in the interview about those nice to have skills. So that is my recommendation to you, is that first segregate between must have, nice have from the job description that is being given. Always be open in terms of learning new technologies, and that should be your answer if you want to get a seat in the team or in the company. And the third thing is that you basically develop the familiarity with most commonly asked nice to have skills, because while must haves is something you already got an experience, that's what I'm assuming, but nice to have is all these different mumbo jumbo that is going on over here, is something you want to have a familiarity with it. That way you are satisfying most of the criteria that job description or the hiring manager is asking, and at the end of the day able to get the seat. So that's mostly I wanted to talk to you, wanted to give the perspective that you divide this information, get the familiarity, and get the right and good job for you. And that's my objective, that with this I am able to share my experience and able to help you to really overcome these types of scenarios. So with that, thank you so much for watching.